It's the Movie Toasty Show, here for you. Dennis and Adam joke about orgasms and sweet movie reviews. We talk about TV too, right?
I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah! Movie Toast.
Hey, everybody.
What's
Welcome
up, folks?
to a cricket-filled episode, folks.
That's right.
Woo, good times. Dennis, right when we started to meet up, the crickets decided it's time to fuck or
You know
find a
what?
mate.
Whatever business they got going on, it's being done at the moment. So we have some
100%.
guest hosts, I guess we could say this episode. We'll
Yeah.
some
So
different
apologies
extra
if
input.
you hate crickets. I hate them even more. Spent an hour trying to find ways to get rid of them. Not possible, folks. Not possible at all. So we hope that this is a one-time thing, but nature's gonna do what it's gonna do.
You know what,
Fuck
Toasties?
me.
We're still gonna bring you all of that golden deliciousness. I promise. It's
That's very true.
Unfailing. Here it is.
Mm-hmm. So what's new with you? How's everything going? How was your fourth?
Good. Had a fun time. Mi madre came down from Oregon to visit my wife and I, and we went and watched the fireworks over at Warner Park, and they put on a great show. I tried some freeze-dried warheads for the first time. They were delicious and sour.
You know, I can't get into this freeze-dried candy stuff. Sarah has them, and I'm like, this just the joy. I'm not tasting it. I don't know.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And it sounds like it should be a slam dunk.
I've never tried any of that stuff before. That was the first time, and it was I just asked, like, what's the sourest thing you have? He said, oh, we have warheads. I'm like, oh, okay.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm on board for that. And it was so crazy because, you know, you're used to warheads being like the exterior is all the sour, and then you work your way to the sweet. All of it's mixed together. It's all the way through.
Interesting.
Man. So it's every bite is just as delicious as the first. So that was a lot of fun. And funny enough, the different colored ones are different sizes. They all like expand to different shape. Like, I don't know.
I wonder it has something to do with the dye that they use, or
that's what I assume.
something?
It must have something. The expansion seizes up at a certain point, but like the blue ones and the green ones were a massive. Yeah, delicious. I loved it.
Nice.
But I love how all of that. I have family come visit. I spent more time talking about the fucking candy I ate on the 4th of July than the amazing.
I mean, you see candy,
and
you see candy, you gotta try it. You see family, it's like, I've seen you. I've known you my whole life. I haven't known these freeze-dried candies. They're new to me. I care more about them.
Food trucks. We did get some shaved ice off of, one of the trucks out there. It was a good time. It was a good time. Good
not bad.
Holiday feeling things happening. So yeah, what about you, man?
I don't know. A couple days beforehand, my mom's cousins had a cookout. Then on the 4th, I went over to a buddy's house, and you know, it's great being the one person in the group without kids, because now everything's about their goddamn kids, and it was all a kids' time, and it was not awkward at all.
That's how it goes, man. That's how it goes.
Yeah, I love it. But I mean, it could have been worse. Could have been worse, I suppose. Yeah.
I'm not familiar with what level of fireworks are allowed in your home state there.
I mean, none technically. I mean, you can have like
it's like California,
yeah,
basically nothing.
Okay. But of course, people go to New Hampshire and buy them super cheap, and then set them off, and all week leading up to, and then after random hours, 11, 12. And of course, my dog is the only one in the house that freaks out. And I notice if I go up and I kiss him, if I give him a bunch of kisses, he'll just get distracted. So I just feel like a weirdo. And it works, apparently.
That's a good dog dad there. Good job, man. I'm just thankful Emmy's starting to get just deaf enough. Can't hear him anymore. Doesn't sleep.
I gotta wait till my dog is deaf. All right. Time will tell.
Funny. I was walking her, and then one went off really close to us, and she just kind of stood up a little taller and was like, you know, let's go home now. I think I'm good. It wasn't like a run. Yeah. It was just like I think this is the time.
Fair enough.
Quick.
Can't blame her.
Yeah, no, for sure. She used to be pretty bad. She'd hide under the bed for like hours at a time. We'd have to wake up the next morning and try to, and then magically she's sitting like laying on one of our pillows between us. But
nice.
Yeah. Thankfully, she's not that panicked anymore. Maybe it's just used to the noise more than anything.
Yeah, I suppose so. I feel like my cat's used to it because assholes in North Hollywood used to like set them off every night, and I'm like, why?
Oh, fuck it.
Fuck
Because
you
there's a lot
people.
of open parking lots around where that spot was too. I do remember that, and that's always tempting. We have that problem across the street from our place where there's just a large open area that we have people coming over from other streets to set that shit off and run away. I'm like, yeah,
ridiculous.
Fuck you. Thanks a lot. Yeah. Now I got to deal with my dog having a fit because he had set a bomb off in our street. Yeah, I love fireworks and shit. Don't get me wrong, folks. I know this is a bunch of Debbie Downer shit sounding. No, I love that stuff, but at the appropriate time and place designated by your
not in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
We're not Florida. And if you're in Florida, I'm kind of jealous. You guys get to have all the fun with everything apparently.
Oh, I want to say Wyoming, Nevada, they get the full smorgasbord as well.
Nice.
Those fireworks are awesome.
Lucky.
Yeah. That's where my family would go from up in Oregon to get stuff.
Nice. Well, I guess let's get into a little thing we'd like to call the news.
Gather round, folks, it's time for the scoop. Tune your ears in, let's join the loop.
I tried going with the like shortest possible segment I could, and that still seems really long. But
I loved the vibe there. I like that really jazzy sort of.
Yeah, it changed it up a little bit from our other songs, I think.
Yeah.
Well, breaking news as of today, Dennis. It looks like the Devil's gonna wear Prada again.
Oof!
And we're getting a Devil Wears Prada 2. Did you ever watch the original?
Frankly. Nope.
Oh, I didn't either.
We're getting another because clearly we needed more. You know,
apparently it's been 20 years since it came out.
Holy!
I can't believe that. I feel like it just came out like 10 years ago. I thought.
I guess that frames the reference ridiculous. I just made of a line from The Office because that's makes sense. That's 20 years old. The beginning of that. So this. Holy shit. Oh my God.
I guess if you're a fan of it, you're in luck because you're getting the original writer, Aline Brosh McKenna, and one of the original producers, Wendy Finerman. They're back on board. And I guess early details are saying that it's going to be a follow-up, and it's going to have Meryl Streep's character, Miranda, at the end of her career, and she's trying to revive her dying magazine business. But she has to turn to her former assistant, played by Emily Blunt, for advertising money after she went on after she became a high-powered executive. And apparently Anne Hathaway hasn't signed on yet, which I thought it was more of an Anne Hathaway movie.
That's what I thought too.
But I wonder if the script's just not there and she's like, nope, I'm good. I can do other things.
Right. Yeah.
Although it's like, what's that say about Meryl Streep and Emily Blunt? I feel like they're pretty high commodities.
I would think so too, actually. So I mean, clearly either the price tag won them over, or this sounded just like enough fun. Let's go for it, I suppose. But
I guess now is a good time. I feel like they just started doing a Broadway musical version of it. I think so. Jumping on board that train, I suppose.
And then it could be that maybe Anne Hathaway signed on to something that's going to take up some time. So.
Maybe, or she's just holding out and she just hasn't signed the contract yet. I guess time will tell. I mean, this could crumble. Who knows? But something that I'm kind of looking forward to, and I think you're probably going to like as well. Nick Cage has finally started talking about his first TV starring vehicle with Spider-Man Noir. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So he hasn't really talked much about it since he signed on. And I guess he's been talking to the New Yorker about it. And he says he doesn't want to take too many unnecessary physical risk, but television is terrifying because you only have so much time to get the libido in your body, and you have to keep going, keep shooting. And I think that's challenging. I'm afraid of it. I've never prepared like
Interesting.
that before, he said.
So it's more like
so he's
the
looking for a
marathon
challenge.
he's concerned about, rather, because it makes
Yeah.
sense if he's thinking of like shooting a film as more of a sprint, then yeah, this is a entirely different race. But
Right?
let's be honest. I
If
think
anybody can do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I have no doubt in my mind he'd be able to do some long form like series work for sure.
Mhm.
And then it's going to be a little. I feel like you should be able to a little less concerned with it being animated. If that's that.
No,
ends up being the
this
case.
is live action.
This is live action.
Yeah,
Oh my god, even fucking better. That's amazing. Okay, so
And yeah, I mean, he went on to say some other stuff, but he's hoping that they'll capture the vibe of the noir, hoping it's going to be black and white and whatnot.
oh, that'd be sick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell
So
yeah.
I don't
Oh
know.
my
I have
God.
hopes.
I'm here for
I
that.
really dug the character in the Spider-Verse, so
Yeah.
seeing a live action version, I think, could be really fun.
What's funny is like I feel like out of all the especially in the first one, out of all those characters that I think I heard other people reference, I mean, people loved the fact that Nicolas Cage was voicing a Spider-Man in that movie.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you're easily gonna get, the downloads, the streams. That's gonna stack up real fast when that thing drops for sure.
And I mean, who's to say that they're going to do a whole bunch of episodes? It could be like just a quick 6-episode limited series. Speaking of, did you watch today? They dropped the first trailer for Agatha All the Time.
Oh no, I didn't see the trailer. I
Oof.
did see a couple of clips of like that were filmed on set that they teased with, but
Yeah.
damn it. No,
It looks pretty fun. Like it starts off like she is a private and not a private investigator, like a homicide detective, and she's on a case, and like then she goes to a morgue, and then
shit.
Nowhere Aubrey Plaza comes up, and she's like, "Is this really what you think your life is?" And then she's like, "You gonna be a witch again?" And it looks like she's gonna she's gonna put a coven together and get up to some crazy antics. And they've been saying this is going to be a scary entry into the Marvel world. But I feel like they said that with Werewolf at Night and a little bit of the last.
A little bit of Doctor Strange, a little bit with damn it, what was the X-Men spinoff, the New Mutants?
I mean, that one was kind of, but that's in its own little universe.
True.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
Anyways.
for sure. I'll check it out. Catherine Hahn's amazing. I'm here for her.
Right. Staying in the world of Nick Cage, apparently last year he was quoted saying that he is getting ready to retire. And now he says he just wants to do about 3 or 4 more leading roles and he can call it quits. He feels like he's kind of done everything that he needs to do in the film world. So I guess maybe that leads, maybe if this goes well with Spider-Man Noir, maybe he'll want to do more TV. And I guess a lot of actors are kind of going over to that land. So why not him, I suppose?
Sure. And that kind of like 2 or 3 more leading roles could be another 10 years, if he gets onto something he's really excited about and that starts to go for multiple seasons. No, it's like, that's kind of a bittersweet statement though. Good for him on knowing just like this will be the time, because let's be honest, the guy's probably got residuals coming in like nobody's business.
He's set for life.
So yeah, this is a good way to go, and especially when it's so unfortunate when other actors from around his class, his era, they either their careers end too soon or something comes up where they can no longer perform. Why not decide when you're done acting and let everything we get to see be what you wanted us to remember? So
yeah, do something memorable. Get out while the getting's still good. Yeah. And I know a lot of people look at him as kind of like a straight to streamer type of actor these days, even though he used to be one of the top actors out there. So it's like he's done it all, I suppose, at this point. Yeah. Although everyone says they're retiring and they always come out or never actually retire.
Sure. So. Yeah, right. But like you said, that's starring roles. That doesn't mean he may not be willing to do like a week on set, or a couple of days.
like he's even looking at this new horror movie coming out this upcoming week called Long Legs. He's like, that's a supporting role. Oh, it's this like horror movie that's getting major buzz, dude. People are
Mhm.
very excited about it.
I'm
So-
pumped for it. I was one of the trailers I saw for the movie I will be reviewing tonight, along with a few others. Actually, I was excited about seeing. Shit, I'm pretty curious about the new Transformers movie.
I am and I'm not at the same time. It's interesting that it's like, I don't know, the graphics are different looking. The stories, I don't know, it's intriguing. I don't have high hopes,
Mhm.
but I'm interested, I suppose.
I'd say I could check it out. The real thing is the new Alien, Romulus.
Romulus.
100%
Yes.
here for that. There was like, I feel like this last trailer I saw was slightly different than the previous one, so
Mhm.
I like the little extra cheese without giving. I feel like they're holding back just enough. You know,
Yeah.
you only
Why
see
spoil
one
it?
silhouette of an alien head, and that's enough for me. We know what those
Yeah,
look
that's
like,
all you need. You know the shit's gonna hit the fan, so
right?
be ready
sure.
for it. Oh, I'm excited for it. Speaking of excitement, Dennis, a lot of people have been just waiting for the Community movie. And over the past couple of
Yes.
years, everyone's just been blaming Donald Glover because he's so busy. And it's weird. Lately, everyone's like, no, it's not Donald's fault. It's not Donald's fault. And it's like, you had Dan Harmon a few weeks ago. Now you have Joel McHale taking the blame for it. And I wonder what happened here. If Donald Glover is like, hey, if I keep hearing shit, I'm dropping out, or if people just feel
Right.
bad.
And that's honestly that's a fair call on him.
Yeah.
Why should everything he's got going have to stop down?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it'll work on the schedule. If you get most of them to come back, if not all of them, to do a movie, that's cool. But I mean, God, everyone moves on at some point.
Yep.
Don't shit on somebody because they're having a career. Keep in mind, this is the twilight for Chevy Chase. The guy's done all of the other stuff.
Well, I mean, Chevy's most likely not coming back. It sounds like everything's leading to. But I honestly feel like he has to make some form of a cameo, but it doesn't seem like people want him there in the casting crew. So
for sure. Yeah, I've unfortunately not heard the best.
Yeah, I don't think anybody has.
But hey.
Yeah. So I'm excited. But I mean, they have the budget. They have it all figured out. Supposedly they're shooting next year. But I feel like every year they're like, we're going to shoot by the end of the year. We're shooting next year.
Right.
It's like, has it come and gone? Do we need it at this point? I don't know.
God, right.
I'm going to watch it, but maybe just let it be.
The Arrested Development movie for like so long. And then at least that something finally sprung from it. But the movie never happens. We're never getting that.
Questionable whether it was something people really enjoyed or not.
Yes,
2 extra seasons, but I mean, that's perfect example of people going on and just having careers that are too hard to juggle the schedule. But they made it work for that first return, and then they got everyone back in the next season. So it's possible.
It is. It truly is. So
yeah,
I guess if you really want to hold your breath, it was nice.
We'll see, right? But I'm most excited here, Dennis, because Eddie Murphy is on the press tour for Beverly Hills Cop Axel F, and he has leaked the best news, in my opinion, here, Dennis. He has gone on to say that he has shot the first act of Shrek 5, and they're going to have it all shot by the end of the year. And not only that, but there's talks of having a solo donkey movie.
Oh my God.
It's like
I'm so excited for you, Adam. By the way, I was reacting so intensely because the particular image Adam decided to use.
I had to use it,
like
man.
Donkey had his way with Shrek and he wasn't happy about it. Although this is just being rudely awakened in the castle, I do recall. But yes, this is
rudely enough, yeah.
Oh, that's
awesome. But I don't know.
All right.
Yeah. I'm just wondering if it's going to be Donkey's going off on his own or if it's going to be a prequel. There's so many routes you could take. I don't see you separating.
You could,
but I want to see
actor, unfortunately, and I don't want that to happen.
Nah, I don't think that's happening.
I
want to know. I want to see him and Dragon. I want to see them getting down and dirty because I want to know how you make hybrid dragon donkey babies. That's the mystery I've been wondering.
We're getting the R34 wide release feature film that will.
You don't think? You don't know.
Explain. That's true.
DreamWorks could decide. Hey, adults are loving Shrek now. Now's the time to do R-rated entries into the saga.
The kids who watched Shrek when it came out are adults having kids.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's it's been around that long.
But yeah, I feel like we've known that Shrek 5's coming, but we haven't heard anything about it being in production. So I'm very ecstatic for that.
Nice, man.
Yeah. And then I guess the biggest news of the past couple of days is Paramount's finally been sold to Skydance for $8 billion.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Where the fuck did Skydance get $8 million? And how does Paramount not have $8 million is my question.
Billion.
Yeah. It's a tiny little studio, I thought. It's like a cute little thing. Oh, Skydance. Okay. Nope.
I mean, what money's backing Skydance? Actually, that's a good question. I don't
get it.
I'd like to look that up after we we conclude recording this, because there's got to be something else coming in from somewhere else. That's a lot. Well, you can see the potential that Paramount has built some momentum with the streamer a little, and they're getting a lot of original series and stuff going, with sprinkling some movies in there. And they've secured a lot of rights to titles that a lot of other people who've either tried to have fought over for years. I mean, shit, we've heard about the Halo movie that Peter Jackson supposedly was gonna direct, then write, then produce, then fucked off from years ago. I still would love to see what that would have been.
That could have been fun.
Oh my god, yes. But yeah, I don't know. Interesting. That's big news though. Now that
I guess it's like
everything keeps compounding down, you know. Oh, yeah.
I guess first they're gonna acquire National Amusements, which I believe is a theater chain, and then I guess they're gonna then get over and take over everything like NBC. Well, no, not NBC. That's no. I'm sorry. Fucking Nickelodeon, CBS, Paramount, all that stuff, MTV.
Yeah.
And I guess this isn't fully going through until next year, but it just baffles me how Paramount needs that much money. Or I guess
they were been against the ropes a few times. I mean, I remember we were in college when they sold off the rights to all the James Bond movies and a bunch of properties. There was a bunch of stuff they put up for sale.
Yeah, like we just said, Axel F is on Netflix. Not over on Paramount. Right? Yeah,
exactly.
Perfect example.
There you go.
And did you see that they recently purged all their crap like online? You can't get archives of MTV, Nickelodeon. You got to have Paramount Plus. A little bit shady, I think.
Right.
But you got to do what you got to do to get those.
With what was it? ComedyCentral.com was getting shut down, which has its own original series that only exists online. So there's all of these comedians that now their work is just going to disappear unless someone ripped it.
It's fucked up.
Website. That's a lot of stuff that just goes away, and it's too bad. Especially, this is the thing I've always been afraid of in streaming, is because you never get that hard version of whatever that media is. It could be lost. It could just go away forever.
That's why physical media kind of the best route to go, but now brick and mortars aren't really carrying that stuff anymore, which is a travesty.
Right? Yeah, no, it really is. I long for the days of Hollywood Video and Blockbuster. Through the video rental store and just seeing all the shit. Like, you're never gonna have that experience again. So
that could be a night right there. God, I used to love going look at that box art and whatnot, hoping they got your right movie in stock.
Hour at least. Just
an hour. Everything. I could spend a night, man.
Yeah.
I could do multiple laps. You get all the different categories and sections. Oh man.
Especially if they had the Dreamcast set up in the corner. So, of course you got to see what demos they got going that week.
You could. Oh man, I don't know. I guess we should probably get over to our second segment of the show. Little thing we like to call polls.
Do it.
All right. So up first on the last episode, 192, I reviewed the motorcycle film The Bike Riders. So I wanted to know what the Toasties' favorite movie about a motorcycle club was out of Akira, Biker Boys, Torque, and Wild Hogs.
I love your selections, man. That is fantastic.
Yeah. Not
I'm
too many
curious
movies
what your
in
first,
recent.
I feel like I could guess what yours might be, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was another one.
Biker Boys, baby.
Oh, I knew it was
Torque? Ah, man. I mean, KG is in Wild Hogs. He has a little cameo there, but no, my heart's with that Akira.
Oh, fuck yeah, man. Oh, me too. Wild Hogs is a fun romp to watch once in a while as it goes by on TV.
I don't think I've ever fully watched it, to be honest with you.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, it's cheesy and terrible, but
I could imagine.
Who
is it? Is it Martin Lawrence, William H. Macy, and Tim Allen?
Yes.
What a hell of a cast.
and John Travolta.
Oh yeah.
So of
wow.
Course, to really round it out.
Was that? Oh man, I think I gotta watch that. And Biker Boys, don't think I've ever watched it. Is it Disney?
Oh god, no. Biker Boys or Wild Hogs?
No, Wild Hogs. Yeah, dude, Biker Boys is definitely Disney.
Disney animated film. No,
I don't think I've seen Torque either. I guess I've only really seen Akira, but I used to love talking about Biker Boys, and Torque's a great title.
It is. I've seen parts of those, but I've never sat through the whole thing.
So what's your choice out of these?
Oh, I'm with you. I'm Akira. That
okay.
I the first time I ever watched that just hit me so goddamn hard, and it's still amazing, especially when you get to see it on the big screen. That movie's just still so damn impressive.
Oh god, I think that was one of the first animes I've ever seen. Like I remember one of the only times my brother and I stood over my dad's house, they let us rent whatever at the video store, and then we just watched it. I'm like, oh, at a young age that I couldn't comprehend anything happening. And then rewatching it on the big screen, like you said, remastered digitally, fantastic.
Yes. Yeah, thank you, David Johnson, for making that a required class at Columbia.
He's not wrong. Let's find out what the Toasties had to say, Dennis. First, 14% for Ice Cube and Biker Boys. Who's that dude? I don't know. Who's the girl? I don't know either of them.
I just like that mean mug we're getting from Cube over there. That's all I'm.
Oh yeah,
the only thing
the good
I'm concerned
stuff
with. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Up next, we have 29% for Akira. All right. I guess that's higher than than Torque. So I'll take that.
I know who won. Oh my god. Go ahead, please.
All right.
Biker Boys, huh?
Up next, Biker Boys is another 29%.
Yeah.
Is Paul Walker in Biker Boys? Or was he the Torque guy?
Good question. This is only. I feel like
I wish Brooke was watching this. He could tell us. Right?
I firmly believe.
Let's do Fast and the Furious on bikes.
Right. Actually, for everyone watching, if you could throw in who you remember starred in each one, because frankly, I just vaguely remember this era of like kind of extreme sports, just everything across the board.
Triple X action,
street race. Oh yeah, exactly. It was all that stuff.
Rollerball remakes.
There was like a drag racing one out in the desert. I remember being a thing. You know what? Fuck, that might have been Biker Boys. Actually,
it could have been. Who knows?
Oh god.
All right. And then we're gonna round it out with another 29% for the Wild Hogs.
I had a feeling it was gonna be up there on par
with that all-star cast. I guess it's a little too edgy. Too much for the Toasties.
Look at this.
It doesn't matter. All right, and then up on the last episode, we both reviewed a little movie called Inside Out 2, which I just saw the other night for a second time. So I wanted to know what the Toasties' original emotion was their favorite out of joy, anger, fear, and disgust. I couldn't add sadness because there's only 4 options on X polls.
Sure.
But where are you at on this?
I mean, I've always been a big Lewis Black fan, so I want to say anger at the gate, really.
Yeah, I feel like he's the most relatable. I get
Yeah.
angry at things. So
Right? It's like hearing that voice that's just saying all the things that you're feeling is kind of nice.
Yeah. And he's the perfect guy to do that because that's
Oh,
his whole
God, yes.
stick.
He's
All right,
he's
let's
wonderful at that.
see if the toasties agree with us here. 8.6% for fear. I guess that
Sorry,
makes
Tony
sense.
Hale.
Yeah.
He's funny though. I mean, yeah, I love his performance.
And Bill Hader did a good job in the first one. I don't recall his character so much because we don't spend as much time with him, but yeah.
For sure. Yeah. No,
And then up next, we have 11.4% for anger.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
So where do you think this is going? What do you think's taking number 2 and number 1 before we get there?
Disgust and joy. I feel like that's
All
gotta
right.
be. I feel like people are gonna.
All right, let's find out.
I hope.
37.1% for joy, leaving 42.9% for the green hottie disgust.
I mean, she is wildly entertaining. Like there is a lot of entertainment value that comes from her. And yet again, just like anger, disgust is also saying all of those things you kind of just wish you could throw out there.
Where in reality, I guess I'm more of a fear type person because I fear everything. But yeah, if you're gonna choose, I'd say anger, disgust. Those guys are fun, and sadness is always fun. Getting a little Phyllis action.
Phyllis is wonderful. She's
hell yeah.
I love it. She should just drop her last name and just be Phyllis.
You don't need Smith. It's already bland enough with Phyllis.
Right?
Oh man,
I'm Phyllis.
All right, so I guess that leads us to the most important segment of the show, Dennis. I'm talking reviews.
You know, baby.
Lights, camera, action, it's review time. Dennis and Adam, we gon' blow your mind. We're stepping up to the plate, ready to swing. Analyzing movies like a scientist would play.
All right, so up first, I have a new Hindi movie called Kill. You know anything about this one?
I remember seeing the trailer and it just looked really badass.
Right.
It went in and out so fast at the theaters closest to me, so I did unfortunately miss this one. But
I mean, it's still in theaters if you want to get there, Dennis. It just came out this previous week.
I'm gonna have to. Oh shit!
You should.
Well,
yeah. Just saying. Maybe not. All right.
So it wasn't.
If you
anyways, Please continue.
If you don't know what this movie is, you have a commando. He just got back from a mission to find out that his love of his life is being kind of married, an arranged marriage to another man. And of course, this doesn't sit well with them. So he goes to the wedding and tries to get her to leave. And she's like, I can't do that. My dad would kill us. And she's like, but I am going to be on this train tomorrow night going to New Delhi. Come with me. And then he ends up going and proposing to her. And she says, yes, the marriage hasn't happened yet. So everything's looking good. And she goes back to her family. He goes back to his bunk with his other commando buddy. And this is an overnight train going to New Delhi. And right as it's taken off, an alert goes off on about 36 people's phones. And then they all get up, pull out these suitcases. There's all these bladed items. It turns out there are a bunch of bandits on this train that are just going to steal people's phones and rings and jewelries and wallets. And unfortunately, the girl who's getting married, her dad is like a very wealthy guy. He owns the train company. And they're like, oh shit, we should say fuck like stealing everything. Let's hold this guy hostage. And so that's the plan. And then they didn't know that there's a commando or two on board, and all hell breaks loose. This movie is bloody intense, dude. It just it's like a freight train going, dude. And like, it's essentially a one-man wrecking crew, like just going through, kicking ass, taking names. And it's like, I don't know, this feels like a Hong Kong action movie almost. It's just so adrenaline. And like the bad guy, he's really the main fucking bad guy. Is fantastic and it's devastating. And you don't get the title card until something major happens about midway through the film. And it's like a gut punch. It's like, oh my God, dude, this movie is not holding back at all. Everyone is on the chopping block in this movie. No one's safe. Kids, elderly, main characters. It's fantastic. And it's under 2 hours, man. Kill is a very fun time. If it's playing in a theater near you, I
Badass.
highly suggest. Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Yeah. No, that's awesome.
Now, I will say the irony here, though, more villains come on when they're supposed to get off at the first stop, and once they find out what's going on, more of the bad guys come on. So it's definitely more than 36 bad guys, but they're all families supposedly. And I'm like, how are there 36 of you fuckers? But okay, it doesn't matter. That's my only flaw with the movie. This movie is fantastic. I'm going to give Kill 3.5 slices of toast.
Badass, dude.
It's worth your time, I think.
That's like I said, I fell in love with the trailer the first time I saw it. Definitely going to try to seek this one out because it looks so awesome. I would love to.
Oh, I avoid like the trailers, but
the contained action. I like that concept.
Yes.
When it's done well, it looks so sick.
Oh yes, and like what really won me over was the poster. I just saw the poster and I'm like, I got to see this fucking movie. That's all it took.
Nice.
But you got something that involves a little bit of the danger and intensity, I believe, right?
That I do. This is a little documentary that is available on Peacock right now called TikTok Star Murders. So this is telling the story of a couple of TikTok creators who had got a pretty decent following for quite a while. The main one being Ali Abulaban and his wife, Anna Abulaban. And he was able to do, like, he was doing all these impressions. He was doing lines from Scarface, and that was like probably his most popular one. But he used to spoof like Skyrim game bugs and just like things you would see in the game and shit like that. And they went with it pretty far. They had this very cutesy presentation. They had all this kind of like this intense journey of like moving around the world to finally get to landing eventually in San Diego, where they were thinking they were hitting like the peak of their careers, while the wife was still trying to be a mother at the same time and live her life. He was so hardcore about doing the TikTok shit, and then he started getting into cocaine and other drugs, and was just it was getting bad. And then he just started broadcasting just like their fights, and then like just straight up abuse after a while.
Oh boy.
It gets really heavy. So I will say, for those who may be sensitive to this particular subject, it may be kind of a tough watch. They do get very on the nose about some of the abuse that took place between the two of them. So please be aware of that if you have certain sensitivities to that subject matter. But it was interesting to me to see a story being told that was just broadcast out to the fucking world. Like, it's horrifying.
So are you actually watching real footage of all this shit?
You're seeing a lot of the TikToks and stuff too. Yeah, there's other news cover stories, especially when you get to the courtroom scenes, once charges have been pressed and the murder actually happens. It's a lot of this just suspicion and paranoia, and just there's like this drug-fueled rage, and it's crazy to see that a lot of this probably started just from gaining that popularity. And it's definitely the way that the documentary really portrays it. It gets a little repetitive, and you're seeing a lot of the same stuff over and over again. So that is where it got a little tough, and you end up basically listening to half of this. I could see getting the story as a podcast, funny enough, but seeing everything over and over again just kind of like made it a little tiring as it went on, until of course it gets to the third act, and we build up to how the story ends with the murders that end up taking place, as the title implies. But it was an interesting story that I always am kind of drawn to these sort of like the darkness that is brought on behind our fascination and interaction on the internet. That stories like these, I want to come check out. Is this particular documentary like the greatest example of this? Yeah, maybe not, but still interesting though. If you are remotely interested in this subject matter, TikTok Star Murders over on Peacock, streaming right now. I'm gonna give it 2.5 slices.
Fair enough. Nice. All right. Up next, I have the movie from Yorgos Lanthimos. You might know him from his critically acclaimed award-winning movie last year, Poor Things, or from movies like Lobster or Killing of a Sacred Deer. Well, he's back with an anthology film. All right, so this is kind of interesting because this movie is all different genres, but it shares the same cast. Everyone serves a different purpose in each movie.
Okay.
Completely different characters. You got Jesse Plemons, Emma Stone, Willem Dafoe, Margot Qualley, and a couple other slightly familiar faces. All right, so the first short, and I guess I say short kind of loosely because they're about maybe 40 to 50 minutes, give or take.
Oh, wow.
This movie is kind of long. But the first one, you have a guy who is essentially a puppet. He lets his boss dictate everything in his life. His boss says jump, he says how high. It literally was to the point where his boss orchestrated the way he met his wife, to his marriage, to what type of furniture they have in their house, how many times he fucks his wife, how he fucks his wife. Like everything is like dictated by his boss, and his wife has no clue any of this is going on. And then one day his boss asks him to do something that he finds to be a step too far, and he says, I can't do this, I'm really sorry. And his boss is like, that's cool, but I have to fire you. You can keep the house, you can keep everything I've paid for, but we got to sever all ties together. And he's like, all right, fine, that's cool. And then his life starts crumbling, and he tries so hard to get his boss's attention back. He says, I'll go and I'll do what you want me to do. I swear I'll never say no again. And it's really crazy. And it's also weird because he also is like having an affair with his boss. He misses that sexual contact with his boss. He just misses everything. And it's very weird and awkward and just interesting because you don't know where it's going to go. And the next one is even more interesting. You have a cop. His wife is kind of like a scientist. She was on an exhibition. She was out doing research on a boat. Her boat ends up getting lost. She's shipwrecked. And then they finally find her and one other coworker. She comes back and she's not herself anymore. And she's acting different. Food she didn't like before, things she didn't like to do before, she is now doing and eating. And he thinks, oh, this is kind of weird. This is not my wife. And he starts resenting her and having her do these weird things and just pushing the limits. And it drives him mad. And the whole time you don't know whether he's crazy or he's right. It's just a real weird mind bender.
Okay.
And it's kind of cool. Yeah. And then the third one is about this cult. And you have these two cult members driving around trying to find this chosen one, this girl. They don't know who she is, how old she is, what her name is, where she lives, but they know she has the ability to bring the dead back to life. And they're interviewing a bunch of people trying to see maybe it might be this person. And there's very strict things that they got to abide by. Like they can only drink water, which is infused with their cult leader's tears. Our main woman, she left her young daughter and husband, and she still goes back to try to like see them. And there's some crazy things happening. And there's intense things in all these shorts, like crazy sexual things happening, crazy gory things happening. And you never know where any of these things are going. It's intense, and everyone's giving fantastic performances. Even Jesse Plemons looks different in each one, different facial hair, different weight. It's insane, the lengths that they've gone through in this. And it's just kind of cool. And then after the closing credits, there's like a little mid-credit scene that kind of ties everything together in a weird way. And overall, it's a really fun watch. Like, it's long, but I would want to watch even more of this world, so I could sit down and watch more longer shorts. I'm going to give Kinds of Kindness 3 slices of toast.
Damn, badass, man. Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds fascinating. That sounds right up my alley.
Yeah. Normally, I'm not a fan of these types of films, but yeah, I think it's worth checking out, I think, if that's something you might be into. But up next, there's something that we can tag team, but I've been talking way too much, so I will let you lead us off in this one.
It's like we're definitely gonna have to get on this together.
For sure.
We're getting the third installment of the fascinating world of Quiet Place in A Quiet Place Day 1. Yeah, this is the story that was brought to us by John Krasinski himself, who had both directed and starred in the original film. We've now gone back in time to the absolute beginning, the first day that these creatures showed up on Earth. And from a wildly different perspective, instead of this rural world we're used to seeing, we are smack dab in the middle of New York City. And as you can imagine, all hell breaks loose. We're following specifically, though, Samira, played by Lupita Nyong'o, who is a patient at a hospice care center she's dying, unfortunately. And this all just kind of lines up at the same. Her and Frodo, her cat, are rolling the city for a marionette show.
A field trip.
She just wants some fucking pizza. She just wants some goddamn pizza, and it just made me want pizza the rest of the night.
You bet. That's what this whole movie's about. It's just about getting pizza. And I loved it.
Spoiler alert, it's about pizza. The whole movie's about.
I mean, sure, there's more behind the pizza.
And it's about pizza. But yes, this is actually the secret info here. This one's written and directed by Michael Sarnowski, which, funny enough, we were talking about some Nicolas Cage action. This is the director of the film Pig, that I know had a pretty good, it was a pretty decent hit at the time. I mean, it had its audience when it hit, and it makes sense that this would be kind of like this natural progression getting into a world like this. I will say, though, for me personally, within the first 20-25 minutes or so, I'm like, I can already feel an absence of a voice that told us the original story. There's elements, there's pieces of the soul of A Quiet Place that are no longer here. I mean, obviously,
I kind of like that, though.
Written by someone else. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Because I felt like we had such a singular story before. We were rooting for a family, and now we're rooting for someone who we know is ultimately going to die. And I feel like we don't have that very often. And then we're joined a little later in the movie by Joseph Quinn, homeboy from fucking Stranger Things. He is a foreign student who is in New York. He has no family, no friends, and he's just petrified. And he decides he's going to tag along and help Sam get her pizza. And by God, she doesn't want him there at first. She kind of shoos him away, but he just keeps coming back. And it's just kind of heartwarming to see these two together. And
it is.
I don't know. And then the cat has scenes where every scene the cat's in kind of steals the movie. And there's like a sense of danger. Because normally an animal is the first to go.
I was more concerned about Frodo the whole time. What's funny, and then which is both a good and bad thing for me, because as soon as I found we were told Samira's fate right out the gate for me, I'm like, oh, well, then she's going to sacrifice herself for someone or something, or like, especially the way she carries herself. I almost thought we were going to get told she used to be like a soldier or something. Just attitude to the outside world and the way she carried herself. She was so headstrong, and which is amazing for a main character. That's the thing. Lupita kills it. She did a great job. Joseph Quinn also did his role very well, being this like very timid, very apprehensive. I literally have nothing else. I know, because of where my parents live, they're just as fucked.
He's kind of screwed. Yeah,
like it's like I genuinely have nothing else in the world. I might as well at least help this woman get her pizza. And sorry about the siren, folks.
I mean, it's better than the crickets.
But
you know what I also liked here? The supporting cast. In the guy who's in charge of the hospice group, played by Alex Wolff. Yeah. He was a fantastic character. I loved when he was on screen. And you know, it's weird. My biggest gripe, I think, with this movie is the fact that there are hospice members on a field trip to a marionette show. That I don't see anybody being like, yeah, take a group of people who are on death's door. I kind of question that, but whatever. That's like pointless fodder, I guess.
It's because a lot of those places, it's about which like group you're in, of
how deep they are and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. It's because sometimes it could be long term. So I could, I don't know, for me, I could see that. I've known people who've been around this, and it's that kind of thing does happen, depending on
Okay.
What you got going on with you?
But while we're at the Marionette Show, we have a connection to the world that we've previously seen because Damon Hunsu and his family are here, and we're seeing him before all hell breaks loose. Always a pleasure seeing him.
So much. Oh my God. Yeah. And he's such a talented actor, and he's such an incredible presence on screen. And it's just, I don't know, between his stature and his voice that is both calming and powerful at the same time. Like, I just love every time he's on screen. He does it so well. And then again, if you've seen the first two films up till now, you do know exactly where he's from and what he gets up to later on down the road. So it was that was a very, very nice surprise to have in the movie there. Because I want to say, I know you're not a big fan of trailers. They cut the trailer for this movie very fucking well because they didn't show too much at all. Like, I didn't realize that many people were in the theater. Whereas the way the trailer kind of shows it kind of seems like it's just Damon
small
and Lupita.
group of people.
Just it makes it, they cut it so it only looks like it's the two of them because they only show the annex. It's only those shots from that annex, whatever.
Yeah, I know what you mean, like the entrance or that little hallway. Yeah, I know it. Yeah.
Foyer. But there we go.
There we go.
So I think they did a great job of the things I thought I was expecting to see. I saw a lot more than I assumed, but at the same time, I feel like the envelope wasn't pushed and like very largely in any one direction or another. But I did appreciate this different perspective, and I did appreciate this setting because obviously we were shown this happened everywhere, right? So everyone wanted to know how the fuck did anyone or could anyone have survived? Especially by the time you get to the second movie, you know people did survive from the major metropolitan cities. So to finally see that firsthand account of how it went down, that part was really cool. And then, like you said, the bonding of our two main characters, that was, I think, the best way to get us.
It was sweet,
showing us that. Otherwise, it was just going to be like Independence Day, and you're just watching decimation without the satisfaction of taking down the mothership, you know.
And I will say another big issue I had with this movie is the fact that everyone within minutes are like, oh yeah, we just got to be quiet. We're safe. Even little kids are hiding in a fountain. All right. They don't have that much forethought to say, okay, yeah, let's just chill here. I don't buy it, but I get you only have so much time to tell a story. So you can kind of forgive it, I guess.
Right. And it's like, I feel like the only sense, to me, because as I'm sitting there watching the movie, it's like the only thing that makes sense is like, if you had 8 million die to cast at once, chances are, I guess, a couple of them figure this, maybe not even figure it out. I would like to think, I would like to believe those kids were so petrified they just didn't run away from the fountain. They realized if they just kept, I think all they noticed was they kept running past. And they know, because you do the math, they were there at least like a day and a half, one can assume.
Sure.
So the fact that she was so willing to give them food was like, oh, you've
they need
clearly been here a while. Yeah. And but I'm with you though. There's especially how so many people figured out. I mean, almost the entire theater group. Although it was mixed up with people from outside
coming from the streets. And we don't know how long she was blacked out, but I assume it wasn't a day. I assume it was like a couple of minutes, maybe a few hours. Yeah, but I will say, speaking to that, the sound design in this film, I felt like was phenomenal. Like hearing the different things happening throughout the theater, and the fact that it commanded silence from everyone. I loved.
Like they carry that into the third movie. All three movies have such incredible sound design, and they really put you in those shoes. Then when you do get those loud moments, it puts you so on edge because you know it's even the sound of a human voice speaking starts to make you anxious because you know it doesn't take much. They're so acute to hearing all of those things. It had the right things going for it to keep us in the Quiet Place universe for me personally. I wish the middle of the movie had a little bit more excitement to it because I got to say there
was a lot of times just sitting and talking in a hotel, in a apartment. And I guess
crying to like not get sleepy right in the middle. But then as we started getting close to the third act, it definitely picks back up again. But yeah, that and then giving her that I did kind of like the built-in sort of time limit. You knew she's in such an incredible amount of pain that without her pain medication, she's just going to be another like screaming liability potentially, depending on how bad it gets. And just like we've seen too many times before in the previous films, like that's an unfortunate outcome you knew would eventually happen. So to see how that goes and how that plays out, especially that little mission out to go secure more of that very vital medication, that's just, especially when you see it's the patches, it's just like,
yeah, they set that up perfectly right before she leaves. At least I did appreciate that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That was smart.
That was like seeing that. I was just like, oh no, there's the first thing to go. You're not going to have that steady supply, because it's like if she lives in hospice, doesn't have to carry that shit. They're going to have it there all the time. So, and it was far enough. You needed a bus to drive all the way out to, so it's like none of this was close. I liked those heightened stakes, but that was and
I will say it's kind of interesting. I was listening to a interview with the writer director. Apparently, Lupita is like definitely afraid of cats, and like she had to get acquainted with the cat. Like, but in pre-production, she had to like spend time to get used to it, and every day in the morning she'd have to like go and kind of spend time with it to get. And it's like never would have pictured that.
Oh my god,
like,
no. She
felt
looked like
so natural.
She looked like a cat person to me. I was just like, oh yeah, this is. I could totally see she's probably just hanging out with this cat, like between takes or something. That's amazing.
And it was just,
good for her. That's
I'm like, that's something.
That's badass. Yeah.
I don't know. I really enjoyed this. I mean, I feel like normally you get this far into a franchise and you lose a little bit of steam and momentum. And I like that they took a different route with it, I suppose.
Oh yes.
But what would you rate this one?
I don't want to be rough, but I want to give it 2.5 slices. I think, like you said, especially by the time we get to a third one in a world like this, the impact just isn't quite as big. Like seeing the creatures isn't as impactful until you see like 30 of them, of course. But even then, that's just like, well, yeah, of course, it's day one, so it should be decimated. It should be that terrifying, and that's where it kind of misses for me. It's just like, I don't know what that twist could have been that really would have shown us something wildly different, but the main saving grace was definitely Lupita Nyong'o's performance, her character. Sure. I liked her drive, I liked her end goal, and I liked her sidekicks surrounding her. Like that was cool. I just wish the presentation of how we got there was a little more heightened.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to co-sign with that. I think I'll go 2.5 as well. It's a fine film, not the best, not the worst.
Yeah.
100%. So I have one more movie here to round us out, another horror movie of sorts. I have the final chapter of the X trilogy, directed and written by Ty West. I'm talking about Maxine. Now, this takes place years after the events of Triple X. I guess you could just call it X because there are only one X's in that title.
Right.
I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about here. So yeah, she survived the massacre, moved to Hollywood, and became a full-fledged porn star. She's known, everyone kind of knows her as a porn star, but now she's in her 30s and she knows that she doesn't have very much time left in this industry because she's getting too old to kind of perform that type of thing. So she wants to get into the mainstream and become an actress. And she gets a shot in a horror movie. But as that's happening, this is the 80s in Hollywood. The Night Stalker is running rampant. And a bunch of people close to her are starting to show up dead and murdered. And now there are 2 detectives that are kind of questioning her, following her. And then you have a private investigator who's kind of creepy, harassing her and also kind of following her. And it's like, okay, how is she going to handle this situation? Is she going to she's not really afraid of anything because she's survived and has killed before. And I don't know, it's kind of cool. It has great set design, great wardrobe. The music's fun, and it just has this dark, gritty 80s style vibe to it. Of course, with X, you had that kind of film grainy look to it, and then with Pearl, you had the technicolored brightness, but this is dark and gritty. And then there's some scenes that are kind of shot like it's on VHS, which is always fun in my eyes.
Yeah, me
and
too.
And it just shows the dark, seedy side of Hollywood for what it really is, and I dug that. But I don't know. It felt like stuff was happening, but it also felt like not a lot was happening. It was kind of repetitive, but everyone was giving good performances. Mia Goth was great. Kevin Bacon played the PI. He was fantastic. The police were played by Bobby Cannavale and Michelle Monaghan. Then her agent, who's kind of a badass, is Juan Carlos Esposito. And you have some other fantastic performers. So everyone is giving a great performance, but it's just a little bit like kind of, I don't know, a little bit just walking the fine line of being a decent little horror movie, but not as fun and upbeat and crazy as I wanted an 80s slasher film to be.
Right.
I don't know. Overall, I didn't regret watching it. I'm going to give Maxine, I'm going to give it 2 slices of toast. It's kind of tied for first spot in this trilogy, this and X. I didn't care very much for Pearl as much, but
I do recall that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I love, that's the thing, this whole franchise I'm kind of lukewarm on. They all have pretty cool premises, but I feel like the execution is just not fully there for me. Yeah. But
do you feel like did they try to leave room for another one after this, you think? Or
no, but I could easily see them doing more somehow because I mean, X was just going to be its own thing. Then like, haha, we shot a secret movie at the same time. That's a prequel. And then they made a big spectacle out of this. Like it's been 2 years since those 2 movies come out. So I could easily see them revisiting this world for sure.
We jump ahead to like the 90s, like late 90s or something, going into the millennium or some shit.
Yeah. But I will say it is great to see this like fierce, badass female role model who's not afraid of anything. At one point, she's in a dark alley and this kind of guy shows up like he's going to rape her, and tables are turned and she gets the last laugh in that situation. And I want to say what happens, but it's kind of a spoiler, but it's really kind of funny. And that's the thing. There's some great humor in this movie.
All right.
Great humor, great gore. And they go to like these like very deep, dark places, and they don't hold back on the gore, which I respect.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm always here for that too.
Right?
Well, cool.
So if you're a fan of any of these other films, I think you'll dig this one.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
And that, which is still in theaters. As of
just
now,
came out recently.
So
Yeah.
check
Speaking
that
of
out. Let us know if you're
theaters. Yeah. And checking
sorry.
things out. No. I'm always jumping the gun here.
I was just doing the same thing, man.
I'm sorry. Apologies. Let's pretend that didn't happen.
Take it away there, movie toaster Adam.
Yeah. So if you like watching films, or maybe if you like making films, in December, we have a little thing called Movie Toast the Festival Season 4, fourth annual coming at you. And the regular deadline is coming up at the end of the month. So get those films in. Head over to filmfreeway.com/Movie Toast the Festival. And it's a cheap fee to enter and a fun time.
Yeah, it is. It really, it's a fun way to spend couple hours, hour and a half or so of your holiday weekend time. We stream this all on YouTube, so it is free to just enjoy all the artwork that other filmmakers have submitted to the festival. It's a great way to just kind of broadcast your short out to the rest of the world. If your film is selected, we will show it along with several of the categories that we have available for you to enter under. But it is a broad spectrum of things. Like, please do not be shy. Whatever you've got, like as weird as you think it might be, I guarantee we've seen weirder. Yeah, that's This is right up our alley. So please come check out Movie Toast the Festival over at filmfreeway.com. You'll find us. because you'll recognize our logo. It's the same here as it is there. But yeah, as he said, it's still a low cost short film festival. It's all about just getting your voices out there and just sharing all of the awesome things that you guys have made. So please come check it. At least come watch it. At least come check it out.
It's free.
Well,
we're not going to charge you.
Nope. Well, the specific date will be posted
on our socials.
On our socials. There you go. There's the transition. I like it.
Yeah.
So please
very shortly
on
over on Facebook,
X,
Instagram, the TikTok,
and
the YouTubes. Yeah,
all under movie_toast. That was almost. I thought we were going to alternate, and then let's just.
I thought so too, but I'm like, let's just do an echo. I don't know.
Yeah, I like it.
Oh man, we'll work that out. We got a couple more weeks left of promoting it. Yeah, I mean, we're always going to promote.
Yeah,
but you're getting movie news right as it's popping. You're getting trailers right as they come out. You're getting little movie reviews for movies that we're not reviewing on the show. You're getting snippets of the show. We got a whole wide variety of different things we're offering on these social platforms, and
more toasty,
please
delicious
follow us.
Morsels to enjoy on all of those platforms. Yeah, please go check them out. If you're enjoying it, maybe try sharing it. Send it to people you think might enjoy some movie chats, because that's what we like to do. Just friends talking about movies, and that's why we keep doing this. But if there's something maybe you aren't quite as big a fan of, or you got a suggestion for what you would like to submit to the show, please go over to Apple Podcasts and submit a review and let us know 1-5 stars, whatever you think, and we will do our best to try to get this show up to what you would like to be hearing or seeing, depending on how you're enjoying this fine toasty goodness.
That's right. Don't forget, if you're listening, you can watch us over on YouTube or watch a live stream. You can find out when and where that's happening on all our social platforms. Or if you're watching and you want to listen to us on the go, we're available wherever you get your podcast.
Yes. Yeah. That's where the core of the show has always been the podcast. And that is, it's still the fun that keeps me coming back at him.
Yeah, but I don't know how many people made it through this one because of these fucking
crickets.
I was going to say cockroaches. That would have been a little different.
Christ. Oh, God damn it. That's a disgusting image.
I mean, I wouldn't want to watch or listen to a cockroach, so I guess it's not wrong. They're just not here currently. Anywho, we like to end this show by asking one final favor of you fine people. And that's...
Please, Toasties.
Stay...
Toasty.
I'm the dentist, they're the kings of the real. Reviewing new movies, they keep it real. Coast to coast, from LA to the east. On the podcast show, they feast on the beast. Adam's bringing knowledge like he's Professor X. Dennis with cuts deeper than Wolverine's claws. I guess Marvel, DC, they know them all by heart. Breaking down the plot, tearing every scene apart. They got the juice like Tarantino's Pulp Fiction. Breaking down movies with a sharp precision. Adam coming in hot like a John Wick hit. Dennis bringing the heat like the climax of a Tarzan flick.
There's a crossover movie I want to see. Tarzan and John Wick. John Wick has to follow a target out into the jungle.
Ooh.
Only to be intercepted by a loinclothed man.
Oh boy. Now someone's gonna get on that. We've seen Johnny Wicks do it all. We've seen him die, but we haven't seen him in the jungle.
That's right.
Maybe that's where he learned his ways. Maybe that's where he was stationed when he was whatever he was before. I like it. You know, I was thinking it's been a while since our buddy Christopher Walken's paid a visit to the show, Dennis, and I miss him.
It has.
Have you heard from him?
It has. No, it's been a while. I know he's been quite busy. There's multiple projects, a lot of irons in the fire.
That's
at the moment.
Bullshit. What is he doing?
We're gonna have to dig. He's his podcast, man. He's visiting all those park benches. Are you kidding me?
There's only so many parks that one man can go to. All right. Walking in the park. I don't even know how many episodes there are of that podcast. I would love to find out. Last I checked,
it was about 1,435. So
wow. Good on Chris.
You know, he's a hard charger. When he starts something, he doesn't give up. So
I guess so.
Well, we'll definitely. I think next episode we'll definitely have to catch up with him and see if we can get him to join in on the video feed. And
I hope so. I'd like to see him in person. I feel like normally,
as long as he's presentable, that would be the only thing.
Yeah.
That's my.
He likes to show his junk to people, and we're not about that.
No,
we're not against it. We don't need to see it. Our audience doesn't need to see it.
We know he doesn't like wear wristwatch. It is in another place.
Oh, he wears it. He wears it up his ass.
His ass.
Well, I guess there's no better way to end the show than talking about a watch up Christopher Walken's ass. Yeah.
Oh.
Thanks, Dennis. And thank you for listening and watching, folks.
Thank you, Toasties.